TikTok.
Stay away from Islam.
Yeah. Yo, everybody. How's everyone doing? Yo. We should make a rap battle together, David, sometime.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
we can. Or I'll just beatbox and you do some rapping.
Well, weren't you supposed to make a video of a rap battle between Jesus and Muhammad?
Oh yeah, we gotta do some other stuff before that though. That's like the pinnacle of a certain wave of videos that's going to be coming out.
Wonderful.
That's like the Avengers Endgame. You know what I mean? Before the
Yeah. I get that. So hello everybody, welcome. Can everyone tell me if everything sounds okay? Sound is good. We look good. We look good already. I know that, but sounds good. Whatever. While you're here, don't forget to like this smash button. And David, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm awesome.
That's it?
Yeah. doing well. Not much sleep nowadays, but people always like when they hear about all the stuff I'm doing, they're like, David, no, it's just too much. But no, I mean, I love it. I love staying busy and getting tons of stuff done. Drinking lots of coffee.
You've been quite busy, right? You haven't been posting videos very much. What have you been doing?
Oh, well, I posted a little update last night about some of the stuff I've been working on, so people can do that. People can check that out. As you know, because you've gone through the period where you're just constantly putting out content. It doesn't leave you a lot of time to do other stuff.
Absolutely.
And so when you're kind of putting a big series together, something like that, kind of have to step away, or otherwise it never gets done. So anyway, I come up with ideas for stuff that I can never really work on because I'm always, okay, what video am I making today? What am I going to post today? And, getting everything ready, then you're doing the recording, then it's all the editing, then it's, posting it, then it's, putting all the metadata and everything, and then checking out the comments and all that stuff. So so that's basically your full day for a video. It doesn't give you time to work on anything else. But me and Vocab Malone are putting together this awesome series. I told people yesterday in the announcement that I didn't know what to call it, but the basic idea is that each episode is going to be Muhammad sitting there with some other person, some other figure from history. So like the first one's going to be Muhammad meets Socrates, and Socrates is going to do what Socrates does best. He's going to show Muhammad all these contradictions in his thinking, and it will end with Muhammad blowing them up. He'll just yell Allahu Akbar and blow them up as soon as he's been exposed. And then actually with that one, I think that's going to be a 3-part series, right? I mean, just that particular Muhammad meets Socrates, I believe, is going to be a 3-part series. So the first one, Socrates will show Muhammad all these contradictions in his book, and then Muhammad will blow them up. And then the next day it'll be another one, and it'll be Muhammad with Socrates again, and Muhammad's acting normal, but Socrates is like, I'm getting deja vu, like we've done this before. And so that one will end with Muhammad blowing them up again. And then the third day is going to be Socrates again. Socrates is going to be like, am I in hell? Am I in hell? All I like doing is having conversations. Do you mean that is hell me having to spend eternity talking to the same guy? But he'll find out that what is hell for him is actually paradise for Muhammad, because as you know, Muhammad said that he wants to be martyred and then come back to life and then get martyred and then come back to life and then get martyred and then come back to life. So Muhammad's eternity is him just continually blowing people up and coming back to life. And so anyway, so I'm going to do that with Socrates, but basically any character we can, come up with from history that we'd like him to interact with. We'll have those. We can do fictional characters. We'll have Muhammad talking to the angel Gabriel in one, but he doesn't recognize him as the angel Gabriel. But in a different one where he meets Satan, he thinks Satan is the angel Gabriel. So, Satan will have like these huge horns and be shouting, "Well done, good and faithful servant." And Muhammad will be there, "Thank you, angel Gabriel," because he doesn't know any better. So like that. And then right before the show, saying, "Hey, I need to get you on." But that would be the idea. Would be Muhammad meets the apostate prophet, and we'll have a little sit down. You're going to get blown up in the end, just so you know. But
so that's awesome. That's awesome.
It'll be awesome.
I'm definitely a fan of that already.
Oh yeah, because I mentioned just yesterday when I was talking about it to people, I said I don't really have a title for it right now. The working title, just in my notes, is Muhammad meets everyone. But someone I checked the comments, and some of the one people had a bunch of good comments. There were actually a bunch of good possible titles and stuff. But the one I think I might go with is someone said Muhammad's boom boom room, right? Everyone's gonna boom, everyone's gonna blow up, right? Yeah. So the place will be Muhammad's boom boom room, and I had thought of it at first as just it'll go in and it'll just be these guys kind of staring at each other, and then they'll start talking to each other. But I'm thinking if it's Muhammad's boom boom room, then Muhammad might be like, it might be his show, you know what I mean? And he could introduce it. Hi, hello, I'm Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon me, and we're here. I'm going to be interviewing guests who better agree with me, or they get exploded. And so then it leads into it, and so it's just his endless series of blowing people up, which again would be paradise for Muhammad because that's all he wanted to do.
I believe the whole series should end with Muhammad meets David Wood, and then you roast him at the
end. we're thinking for some of them, he won't even talk. He'll just instantly blow them up. Like we get Ben Shapiro on there or something. Muhammad just looks at the camera and pushes the detonator, something like that.
Yeah, there's nothing you can talk there. I think that's how it should end. That's my idea. Please accept my idea.
Well, you said that the ending. If I have my way, and this is actually popular, this series will never end until I'm dead. Oh, maybe I'll record the one of me ahead of time, but never post it unless I get killed. You know what I mean? Like that'll be the end of the series. So other than that, I just keep it going week after week after week, year after year. So there are like hundreds of these because there's limitless characters that Muhammad could interact with. And then I'll have in the vault, in case of David Wood's death, then release Muhammad meets David Wood, and that'll be the final one.
That's morbid. Do you notice that I called the live chat David Wood and Apostate Prophet?
not dead live. That's cool. Yeah. I might have to steal that one.
Yeah, I thought that's the best idea because we both have been quite inactive for a while now, and people have been asking me about you. People have been asking what I am doing. So I thought,
what are you doing? What have you been doing?
I have been. I've been having a break because of my whole anxiety stuff and all that nonsense that's been going on. But then after coming back, I've been reading the Quran forever. I've been working on this this project.
You poor man. That would be hell.
I'm serious. Hey, let me tell you something.
Taste of hell.
I feel great the entire day. I feel wonderful. I started getting better from all the anxiety. I'm taking different supplements that make me feel better and all. I come to my office. I sit down and start reading the Quran for 2 hours. I feel horrible afterwards. I feel like garbage afterwards. After reading the Quran, it is really a bad experience. It's bad for me. I'm aware of that, and I'm doing this. I'm really sacrificing my sanity and reading the Quran so that I can put out a great project with that.
Anthony Flew pointed that. So Anthony Flew was one of the great atheists, critics of religion of the 20th century, but he's not like the new atheists who are like really nasty and stuff like this. He was like very gentlemanly, and he would love to sit down with various people and have discussions and debates. He debated Gary Habermas, a Christian apologist, several times. But Anthony Flew, he eventually became like a kind of deist. He believed that there is some sort of designer to the world or something like that. But he was asked if he ever thought he would convert to anything more specific like Christianity or Islam, and he said no. And the interviewer, who's actually Gary Habermas, said, but what are your thoughts on comparing Christianity and Islam? And he said, well, I'll give you three. He said the Apostle Paul was a brilliant scholar. He actually called him he said he had a first-rate philosophical mind. And he said basically Muhammad was an illiterate caravan trader. Then he said that Jesus was an incredibly charismatic figure. Like people generally, unless you're weird, people tend to really like Jesus. He said Muhammad wasn't. And then his other comparison was, he said, regardless of your position, the Bible is a tremendous work of literature. You don't have to believe in it to appreciate its literary value. He goes, to read the Quran is to do penance. So for all you non-Catholics out there, penance is when you punish yourself for your sins. So he said reading the Quran is basically punishing yourself for your sins. And I would agree with that assessment. Unless, I mean,
Absolutely.
my goodness, I've said before, I would literally rather read a phone book. If I were just reading for enjoyment or something like that, I would rather read a phone book than read the Quran. It's that horrible. Now we have to read it, but that's the point. We kind of have to force ourselves to read a really, really horrible book. And by the way, I just wanted to point out, I'm not saying that because, oh, it's an Islamic book and I'm just saying mean things. I find lots of passages in the Hadith and in the Sirah literature very interesting, right? Very interesting to read. Some of it makes you want to go take a bath afterwards, but, tons of interesting stuff. The Quran is just so I'm not just saying that because it's an Islamic book. The Quran is just a horrible disaster of a book.
Let me demonstrate, actually. Let me wait. Let me do something here. I have this one Quran chapter in my mind that is so horrible because I've been reading it. How do I share my screen here? Again, yeah, right here. Okay, here. Let me go ahead and demonstrate what we're talking about. Bear with me a little bit. Alif Lam Mim Ra. No one knows what that means.
No one,
really. The consensus is that no one knows the meaning of these letters at the beginning of several Quran chapters. No one knows. They're just there. But it's a miracle. It's a sign of Allah's glory, but no one knows what it means. So there is really no purpose for them to be there. It doesn't leave any impact on people at all. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, these are the verses of the book, and what has been revealed to you from your Lord is the truth. But most of the people do not believe. Look, it starts going after the disbelievers already. Look, listen to this. It is Allah who erected the heavens without pillars that you can see. Then he established himself above the throne and made subject the sun and the moon, each running for a specified term. He arranges each matter. He details the signs that you may, of the meeting with your Lord, be certain. And it is he who spread the earth and placed therein firmly set mountains and rivers. And from all of the fruits he made therein two mates. He causes the night to cover the day. Indeed, in that are signs for a people who give thought. When I was here, I already made a lot of notes for all the mistakes in the Quran. But anyway, I know this until here it sounds horrible already, but let's go on for a few more seconds. And within the land are neighboring plots and gardens of grapevines and crops and palm trees, growing several from a root or otherwise, watered with one water. But we make some of them exceed others in quality of fruit. Indeed, in that are signs for a people who reason. Who understood anything so far? Let me read this next verse and then let's stop. Look where this gets to. And if you are astonished, O Muhammad, then astonishing is their saying, when we are dust, will we indeed be brought into a new creation? Those are the ones who have disbelieved in their Lord, and those will have shackles upon their necks, and those are the companions of the fire. They will abide therein eternally. This is how This is how every Quran chapter starts. It's
yeah. And the thing is, it just goes on and on and on like this forever, and just keeps saying stuff like this, right? You'll have some various topics in there, but it just keeps going and going and going like this all day long.
Yeah. It suddenly talks about how Joseph, went together with his father and his brothers and this and that here and there, and then five verses later it comes again to how Allah made the lightning and how the earth is beautiful and how in heaven there are grapevines and that those who disbelieve will go to hell and burn therein eternally. It's just you see here in this chapter already. This is the fifth verse, and it starts already going brutally after the disbelievers, and for a while it just goes on and on and on. And this starts also in the first actual chapter, in the second chapter of the Quran. It first talks about how glorious and how beautiful and how miraculous Allah is, and then immediately, but those who disbelieve, they are dumb and deaf and blind.
Hey, I got an idea. We should just we should have a live series where we just read through the Quran, right? we'll go back and forth. You read a verse, I read a verse, until we go through all of something like Surah 2, something like that, and then we just end. And then people who want to read the Quran, but lots of people like to learn by audio now while they're driving and stuff like that. Then they can have the Apostate Prophet and David Wood audio Quran for them.
Oh,
just us reading all the epic Quran verses.
Absolutely.
They can put it on. Yeah, they can put it on their iPhones, listen to it all day long.
That would be amazing. That'd be amazing. That's torture for you from us.
Oh man, look, I was speaking at a conference somewhere, and I remember I had to drive for several hours, so I got an audio Quran there, because all the Muslims say, well, if you just heard it in Arabic, you'd understand how beautiful it is and stuff. So I got an audio Quran, but it's where they read it like they're singing it and stuff, right, like that. And so I listened to this, and man, my head started hurting. Like about 45 minutes into it, I just started getting this horrible headache, and I was like, no, just got to keep listening to this. If it's really awesome, I'll notice it eventually. And the headache got worse and worse and worse. Horrible noise.
To be very honest, there are even some parts of the Quran that that when you listen to it, recited by someone who has a great voice or who can recite it very well, it may actually sound nice. It's some parts. It's totally possible. But the thing is, what is the point in bringing that up?
Yeah.
How does that exactly make the Quran better? How does that make the Quran a great book, a divine book that doesn't do anything?
Yeah.
You could read the worst piece of text in that way.
In fact, I know a guy, my friend Usama Dakdok. He has his own translation of the Quran out, but he says he runs into people like this all the time. Oh, but the Quran sounds so amazing when they chant it like that and stuff. And he goes, really? He goes, like this, and he'll sing some Arabic for them. And they'll go, yeah, it's like that, man. It's just like that. And he goes, do you know what I just said to you? I said I want to chop your head off, drink your blood out of your skull. And he'll say what he actually said to them, right? So anyway, they get the point. Hey, some people just like the way other languages sound when it's, said. But there are all kinds of languages like that. Like some people like, French and stuff like that and think it sounds so cool. But yeah, you could say all kinds of things in Arabic and do it in a melodious voice. And a bunch of people say, oh, it's so wonderful. It must be the word of God.
I actually had this idea before at the beginnings of my YouTube channel. I thought it would be a nice idea to take the box of my Domino's pizza, translate the text of it into Arabic, and then just read it out loud like I would read the Quran, and then ask people how beautiful that sounds and compare that with the Quran. It would totally work. It's the same logic. It's the exact same logic. Mm-hmm. Anyway. Yeah, so I wanted to talk about several things with you. I asked you what you were. Oh, you're not on Twitter and Facebook anymore, are you?
Nope. Well, my Twitter account is still there. I'm just locked out of it until I remove a video that I refuse to remove. So, yeah, I'm off Twitter. But yeah, so my account hasn't been removed, but they banned me until I remove this video, which I'm not removing.
Oh, you refused to do that, and yeah.
Well, it was after the Christchurch shooting. I made a video condemning the attack, condemning the violence, and a couple weeks later, Twitter sends me a message saying, you've been banned for however long it was. I don't remember, a day or 3 days or something, and says you have to take this video down because it violates our policies on hate speech and so on. So there's a little button there that you can push to appeal it. So I pushed the button to appeal it, and I said, guys, did you even look at the video? I'm there condemning violence. If you're saying that's hate speech to condemn violence, what's good speech, right? Yeah. Praising violence, what is it, right? So anyway, I sent that in the little appeal. And then the response to the appeal. So supposedly after they watch it, they send me a message back saying it is against our policies to post video footage of people being killed. And so they actually accused me of posting footage of the attack. And I mean, 200 and some thousand people watched the video. I didn't post 1 second of footage of the attack. I never even watched the footage. I didn't watch 1 second of the footage of the attack. I don't want to watch it, let alone post it. So, but you know, if this sort of thing only happened once ever, you might give someone the benefit of the doubt and think, okay, it's just an accident. But when it's happening left and right, primarily to people who have the wrong views on Twitter and Facebook, yeah, it's clear that there are basically some people there who are biased, and they can block you for anything and just make stuff up. And that's the creepy part, right? So like if YouTube right now wanted to adopt the same method, here's you and me talking, YouTube could send you a message saying, we're deleting your channel because you posted something saying kill all Muslims or something like that, even if you never did, right? They did the same thing to Tommy Robinson on Facebook. They said, he was calling for people to be killed and saying that Muslims should be beheaded. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. That would be on every single British news channel every day, all day, if you ever said something like that. So, but the idea is they can just make something up. You have no way of appealing. You're being banned from the channel once you've exhausted any sort of appeals you have. Once they finally made it public, hey, we're deleting you. You don't get to appeal what they've done, so they can just say anything they want. Anyway, sucky system. Dangerous times to be in.
You know what happened to my? I mean, you have directly seen what happened to my Apostate Prophet Twitter account. That was, I was banned for just pointing out something that exists in a religion. You know, I didn't even give any opinion on anything, and I was banned for that. And they reviewed it 3 times, and they rejected it after each time. So it's really ridiculous what's going on. I have been recently thinking of deleting my Facebook account, deleting my Facebook page because of the thing that recently happened with Paul Joseph Watson and all. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I'm kind of waiting for the right time. I think the White House is trying to look into that issue, to investigate that. They have announced that they might even be going after these social media platforms and making policies to remove political bias from these platforms and things like that. So I really wonder what's going to happen about all of that. But for all of those who love you so much, you have been offline. People have been asking me, where is David Wood? Where is David Wood? And I've been saying, I don't know where David Wood is. Stop asking me. I'm not his lawyer. So
you're supposed to say, especially to Christians, you're supposed to go, am I my brother's keeper? And that's the end of it.
Yeah, no. Yeah. But anyway, to all those who have been asking about you, where do you have any alternative platforms where people can find you?
I'm on Minds and BitChute, and Gab, but I haven't been posting a lot on those just because it takes a while for me to develop a new habit and stuff. But after I'm not going on Twitter anymore, and I deactivated my Facebook account. But man, you don't realize until you get off one of those platforms how much it's become a habit to go there like automatically, right? So if I'm sitting there doing stuff, I go off YouTube and stuff, my hands would automatically type in Facebook to go to Facebook, and then it would come in there and say, you need to log in or something like that. Because I didn't have an account, but I wouldn't be thinking about it. I would just go there automatically because it's a habit to keep going in back and checking these alternative platforms. But for several days after I deactivated my account, and something similar with Twitter when I stopped going on there, just for several days, just automatically my hands type to go on to these sites. So man, do they train you? They train us. These are like Pavlov and his dog, training his dog to drool when he hears the bell. Man, they got us.
Yeah. All right. I've been wanting to talk with you about several other things, but I don't know. To come back to the whole Quran issue, there have been some things that I have been noticing. I wanted to make a video today actually to explain to all the people who have been waiting for the all mistakes in the Quran videos to explain to everyone what's going on, because I have been reading the Quran. I have been working every day on making that list, on writing a script about all the mistakes in the Quran. Quran. The problem is, I have read the Quran many times before, and I noticed all the horrible and wrong stuff it says, but I never took notes of all the wrong things it says. And I went online several times to find lists of people who compiled such lists before. I found them incomplete. I found that they include things that I don't consider mistakes in the Quran, and so on. But so I thought it would be the best to just read the Quran for myself and to make notes of all the wrong things that I find. The problem is there are so many mistakes, and there are so many more mistakes than what I've originally ever noticed. There are so many more mistakes than we can find on all these lists online. There is an endless supply of mistakes, of just garbage, of just nonsense in the Quran, and it gets longer and longer. So I'll probably be working on this for a while, and be making a quite long video in which I will summarize all these mistakes that I found. What I noticed recently, for example, is that the Quran can't tell the difference between, it can't tell the correlation between the sun and and daylight. It separates daylight and sun into two things, and that the sun is just a feature that comes together with with the daylight, which is ridiculous. But that's actually what the Quran says. And I want to go into such things extensively because there's a lot to see. But there are some other things that I see when I read the Quran, which is something that I never paid attention to before. I want to ask you, as a Christian. I mean, the stories of Moses and all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
the Exodus and everything.
Mm-hmm.
When the Quran tells all these stories of former prophets and big guys, it kind of tells the stories in such a way that it depicts Moses as mere prophets who were just after converting as many people as they could to their own religion. I don't know if you've noticed that, but wouldn't you agree that Jews didn't have? I mean, in the time of the Jews and the Hebrews, in the time of the Exodus, there wasn't such a struggle to invite everyone to believe in the religion of Moses, right? That wasn't the issue at hand there. But
No.
the Quran tells the story in such a way that it tells us a story where Moses is inviting the Pharaoh and his audience and his people to the true religion, and because the Pharaoh rejects that true religion, Allah punishes them.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, no, you are correct. You do historically have Jews who proselytize. And different generations have emphasized that more or less, but it is not, Judaism has never really been much of a proselytizing religion saying, hey, all you other people have to get on board with our religion, things like that. So yeah, so for the Quran to portray all these Jewish prophets as guys who are going out desperately trying to convert the world to Judaism, yeah. Doesn't line up very well.
Yeah. I mean, the Quran completely gets Judaism wrong, and gets the Jewish people and their whole mission completely wrong. It just depicts the whole thing as just prophets going around and inviting people to the true belief in the one Allah. And that's just not what happened. Mm-hmm. And that's why I think it also gets Jesus wrong, for example. As we know, Islam completely depicts Jesus as this mere prophet who came and tried to invite people to the one true religion, but people just didn't accept. And Jesus also brought a book called the Gospel, mm-hmm. but that book was completely lost, and no one can find it, and it has been corrupted now by the Christians.
Yeah,
it's summarize what's going on there.
It's also funny because the book that Jesus brought is called the Injil in Arabic, but that's not a transliteration of a Hebrew or Aramaic word. That's the Arabic transliteration of the Greek word euangelion, right? In other words, if you put that, if you try and put the letters in a different language like Arabic, you get Injil. So that's just amazing, because Muslims all the time, why is the New Testament written in Greek? Why is the New Testament written in Greek? Jesus is a Jew. Why is it written in Greek? See, he wouldn't have said that. Well, why does it have a Greek title according to Muhammad? Your your prophet says that Jesus brought a Greek book. Why? And why is why is he transliterating these terms from the Greek and not from the Hebrew or Aramaic? Right. This is Allah. This is Allah's eternal word. Why is Allah using Greek words and trying to put them into Arabic in his perfect stuff? Anyway, so yeah, you've got. I mean, the problems with the Isa of the Quran. I mean, it's every step of the way. Even his name. Right. Muslims can't figure out why he's called Isa. That's not Arabic for Jesus or for Yeshua. That's the Arabic of Esau, right? That's the Arabic of Esau, who that was the brother of Jacob. That was the brother of Israel, and the descendants of Esau, the Edomites, became some of the main enemies of the Jews. So to call someone an Esau was like an insult. You're saying you're the enemies of the Jews. So why is Jesus named Isa, which is the Arabic, again, the Arabic version of Esau? Some have there's no good Muslim explanation. If you open up the commentaries, it'll be, well, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. The only one I've seen, the only explanation I've seen that is at all persuasive is that basically Muhammad was around some Jews in Medina, and maybe some Jews in Medina were disrespecting Jesus by referring to him as Isa. And so Muhammad is just too ill-informed to realize that's not his name. This is just some people insulting him. And so it ends up in the Quran. And that's a problem we see. We would expect Allah to know better, but it's pretty easy to fool Muhammad, as it's happened over and over again. So yeah, basically Muslims will say, no, the Isa of the Quran, Jesus in the Quran, that's the true Jesus. And it doesn't work like that, right? If in the Quran, Jesus is just going around emphasizing, hey, I'm only a prophet, I'm only a prophet, I'm only a prophet, focus on Allah. And his apostles as well, they were devout Muslims. Well, we know historically the kinds of things that Jesus was claiming. We know historically what his apostles did and what they claimed about him. Across the board, they believed that he is Lord, that he died on the cross for sins and rose from the dead. And those happen to be the three of the main things that Islam denies, that the Quran denies about Jesus. So, you have to raise the question, how did these guys get all of this wrong, right? Because we know what Christians came to believe. We know what the early generations of Christians believed. So if these guys started off as devout Muslims, how did all of this get corrupted so fast? Especially when in the Quran, Allah promises to protect Jesus' followers until the day of resurrection. So it's basically all Muslims can do. In other words, the Jesus of the Quran, he's going around, only believe in Allah. We must submit to Allah. We must all submit to Allah. And Jesus in the Bible is on the constant verge of getting stoned to death for all the blasphemous things that he's saying, according to his listeners, right? He's making claims about himself that people are saying, this man has to die, right? Guess what? No first century Jew is going to say you need to die for going around telling people to believe in God. Not one. There's not a first century Jew who's going to say, hey, this guy's telling us that there's only one God. We need to kill him. No first century Jew. That's not going to upset any first century Jew. It's not going to upset the religious leaders. We know that Jesus was saying a lot of things that made a lot of people very upset, to the point where he had to die. Right? Even according to Islam, Muslims don't believe that he was actually crucified. Well, some do. Some believe he was actually put on the cross. But notice, even if they, hold to substitution theory, someone else was crucified in his place, they at least have to believe that the Jews wanted to kill him, right? They have to believe that the Jews wanted to kill him, and then Allah rescued him. So why did all these Jews want Jesus dead? Why were these guys saying, we have to kill this man, we have to crucify this man? The Muslim view is Jesus is going around saying, believe in God, everyone believe in God. We all need to submit to God. Who is that going to upset? It doesn't in first century Israel. Yeah, it's completely incoherent. And so all the Muslim can say is, well, all of your, biblical records about Jesus going around claiming to be the I am of the Exodus, claiming to be Lord of the Sabbath, claiming that he was going up to Jerusalem, where he was going to die and that he would rise from the dead, claiming that he didn't come to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for others. They have to say, nope, all of that's been corrupted. But there's the problem there, namely that according to the Quran, the gospel hasn't been corrupted and is still authoritative for followers of Jesus even today. So Muslims today believe that, yes, the gospel was initially inspired, but they believe it was subsequently corrupted by Christians. But the Quran never says one word about Christians corrupting the scriptures. The Quran affirms that Christians at the time of Muhammad were still reading the gospel. That Surah 7, verse 157 talks about Jews reading the Torah, Christians reading the gospel. Surah 5, verse 47 talks about Christians. It commands Christians to judge by the gospel, which makes no sense if the gospel has been corrupted. You got multiple Quran verses, such as Surah 18, verse 27, Surah 6, verse 115, which say that no one can change Allah's words. And that's in the context of talking about a book that Allah has revealed. But it's no one is powerful enough to change Allah's words. And yet every Muslim believes that all of Allah's words were changed over and over again until you get to the Quran. And if you read the Muslim sources, it's not even true of the Quran. The Quran was changed multiple times. And so you've got this situation where we've got claims in the Christian scriptures that don't line up at all with the picture of Jesus that we get in the Quran. So Muslims have to say, well, your book's been changed, it's been corrupted. But the Quran also says that our book hasn't been corrupted and that our book is still authoritative for us. So the Quran commands us, again, Surah 5, verse 47, commands Christians to judge by what's in the gospel. Well, if we judge by what's in the gospel, then we have to judge that Islam is false. Because if the gospel is the standard, then the Quran doesn't line up. The Quran's false. Surah 5, verse 68 says that we have no ground to stand upon if we do not stand upon the Torah, the gospel, and all the revelation that has come to us. And so there's just no way out of that, right? The only way a Muslim can get out of that is, one, they have to either they can acknowledge that the Quran affirms our scriptures, in which case they have to reinterpret everything in the Bible that conflicts with Islam, right? So they have to when Jesus says that he's come to give his life as a ransom for many, they have to reinterpret that and say it means something else. When Jesus says he's going up to Jerusalem and he's going to be killed and that he's going to rise from the dead, they have to reinterpret that to mean something else. When he claims that he's the final judge of all humanity and that he's the one who raises the dead at the resurrection, they have to reinterpret these very clear claims of Jesus. So they can either acknowledge that the Quran affirms the Bible, in which case they have to reinterpret all of these things, and that's just a big, massive mess, or they can claim that our book has been corrupted, in which case they have to reinterpret all kinds of passages in the Quran, which clearly state that Christians still have the gospel, that the gospel can't be corrupted, that the gospel is still authoritative for Christians even today, that we have to judge by the gospel, that we have no ground to stand upon if we do not stand upon the gospel. And so they either have to reinterpret a ton of the Bible or they have to reinterpret a ton of the Quran. And you just can't do that and be intellectually honest. So the solution is just to ignore the problems and pretend that they don't exist.
An interesting thing is, since you said that Jesus in Islam doesn't make any sense because Islam or the Quran, Muslims generally deny everything that Christians believe in about Jesus, that Jesus is reported to have said and to have done, while also acknowledging that Jesus, or while claiming that Jesus was a prophet. And it doesn't give any logical conclusion, any logical explanation as to why Jews then, wanted to kill Jesus, which also happened according to the Bible. And there is a long list of Quran verses that refers to Jews repeatedly as killers of prophets. And it says things like, whenever a prophet came to you and told you something you didn't want to hear, you killed him. Again, whenever a prophet was sent to you from Allah and you didn't like what he said, you killed him. And it seems like the Quran tries to, as reason why Jews wanted to kill Jesus. It just wanted to depict it as that he brought something that they didn't like, which it then kind of wants to depict similar to Muhammad, because Muhammad brings something that Jews don't like as well, and they killed Jesus and they also wanted to kill Muhammad. It wants to give people that message. But the funny thing behind all of this is, it makes me wonder, what is the point of Islam to a regular Jew? And how would you explain to a regular Jew that he needs Islam? How can you possibly convince a Jew of that? What does Islam bring to a Jew? I mean, a Jew would probably stand there and think, "What do you want from me? You know, what exactly do you want from me? What exactly?"
You got to believe in one God.
Yeah, yeah, we do. What do you want from me?
Believe in the one God. There's only one.
It doesn't make any sense. There is nothing that's being brought to the Jew that a Jewish person doesn't.
Well, there is, and it's Muhammad, and that shows how idolatrous this religion actually is, right? It's not really about God, because you could be a monotheist and worship one God and believe that there's only one God, and believe that God has sent prophets and that God will judge the world. You could believe in, in all of these things, but the Muslim is going to say, no, but you have to believe in Muhammad. Your salvation depends on you accepting Muhammad right now. And they make it about Muhammad.
And it goes so far that it's in the creed of the religion. The creed of the religion is not about believing in the one God and following the one God entirely, obeying him entirely. The creed is about believing in the one God and accepting his messenger Muhammad. It suddenly turns from that religion, although Islam claims, although the Quran claims that prophets like Jesus, which the Quran also calls a prophet, always called for people to completely concentrate on Allah, on the one and almighty God, and nothing else. The Quran also brings this new invention of putting a prophet into the focus of entire humankind, of imitating this one person, of mentioning this one person in the creed. Why do people have to love Muhammad so much? Why do people have to follow Muhammad so much?
Yeah, I mean, you have to go to the bathroom like he did. You have to eat like he did. You have to do everything like he did. So you have to pattern your entire life after this one guy. What's interesting here is, I mean, even the Shahada, the Sabians during the time of Muhammad and before Muhammad's time, there was a religious group called the Sabians, and they had their own Shahada, right? It was La ilaha illallah, right? So they recited part of what we now know of as the Shahada. They recited it. And notice what Islam does, right? Islam takes an affirmation that already existed as a religious affirmation of monotheism in Arabia, and then says, wait, we need to add something. We need to add and Muhammad, right? Yeah. That wasn't enough. That affirmation of the one God, of pure monotheism, that is not enough, ladies and gentlemen. We have to add to that creed and Muhammad. You need Muhammad in there. And so that's the contribution of Islam. There are people who are already devout, diehard monotheists. Muhammad comes along and says, but what about me? What about me, everyone? You guys are sitting there focusing on the one God. What about me? You need to go to you're not going to the bathroom like me. You're not eating like me. You're not doing all this stuff I said. You don't realize the brilliance of all this stuff I said. Like half of the punishment of the grave is due to urinating improperly. Where are you going to get my awesome teachings? You dunk your flies. It's okay to drink water if there's a dead animal floating in it. I'm a prophet. Focus on me. It's about me. I want the entire world patterned after my life, because I'm not an egomaniac at all.
The favorite human of Allah, the favorite person.
Oh, Allah loves him, Muhammad. He loves him some Muhammad, man.
It is incredible. I mean, if you go into Islamic theology, into books of Islamic theology, books that scholars have written over centuries, over the millennium, you see very messed up things. Like if you explicitly disagree with Muhammad, if you say that if Muhammad said that he likes something, and you say, "Oh no, but I don't," then that is disrespectful to the faith. And you could be judged as someone who is an apostate or who is near apostasy. It goes so much to the extent of being a cult, of just worshiping this one human. I mean, it is ridiculous when Muslims criticize, when Muslims want to attack Christianity. They attack Christianity based on how Jesus is viewed in Christianity, but Jesus is viewed that way. Jesus is venerated that way, not because Jesus is a human, but because Jesus is God. But what are you Muslims doing? You Muslims are taking a mere human who doesn't have any bigger quality, who doesn't have any God quality, and putting him almost like next to Allah, and almost worshiping him, doing everything he does, saying everything he says, listening to everything, every advice he gave you, and taking that as a command. I mean, we have the Sunnah. The Sunnah is considered the second most important aspect of Islam after all the things you have to do by the by the laws in the Quran. It is even in many from many perspectives equated to the commands given by Allah, by the creator of the universe, according to the Quran. And the Sunnah means to follow Muhammad, to follow the things he said and he did. If Muhammad did something, and there is clear consensus that he did something, and that he said that doing this specific thing is good, then you are expected to do that certain thing.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to do that. That is Islam. That is the supposedly monotheistic religion of Islam. The supposedly monotheistic religion that completely focuses on Allah. That is Islam. It is really, I don't know. When I look into all of that, when I read the Quran now, when I look into all these sources, I think, how did I believe in all of that?
Mm-hmm.
How did I really believe in all of this? When I read the Quran, I think, how stupid was I? By which I don't mean that everyone who believes in it is stupid. Or do I? No, I don't. I don't mean that by that. But seriously, it is a ridiculous set of beliefs. Anyway, you want to add anything to that, David?
Yeah, I mean, I've thought a lot about how Muslims can maintain certain beliefs about Islam, and very intelligent Muslims, people who are really awesome in their fields and can still maintain, oh, the Quran is the greatest book ever written, even though, my goodness, I mean, there are all kinds of things that you could very easily do to the Quran to just make it better, like put it in order, right? Very simple, very simple. They could have done that in the beginning. They could have just put it in order. Instead of basically saying, let's arrange it from longest chapter to shortest chapter. That'll work. And then we'll put this little short chapter at the beginning. Oh, they're not longest chapter to shortest chapter. Now it's totally out of order, which makes it difficult because, the basic principle of interpreting the Quran is the doctrine of abrogation, where earlier chapters are going to cancel or abrogate. Earlier chapters are canceled or abrogated by later chapters that come along. And so having it out of order means that you have to go to all kinds of outside sources and try and piece together a timeline and stuff like that. So you could, very easy to do something simple like that to make it better. But I think what the situation is if you're growing up as a Muslim and you're told from all the people you respect, from your family and from your imam and everyone, that the Quran is just this masterful book, it's the greatest thing ever written, and everyone knows it, and people just fall down and prostrate when they hear the Quran. It's so amazing. And I have Muslim books where it talks about the people during Muhammad's time. When Muhammad would recite the Quran, they would have to cover their ears and run as fast as they could because they knew they would convert based on. Now, if you actually read the Muslim sources, they thought, really? Is this a joke? This is horrible. I can recite stuff better than this. Guys, look up Al-Nadir. Al-Nadir was this guy who used to follow Muhammad around. Muhammad would get up with his new Quran revelation. Al-Nadir would say, I can do something better than that. And he would stand up right behind him and do it. You know how the Muslims dealt with him? They killed him. They executed him as soon as they got control of him. So anyway, I think what really happens is, if you hear the entire time you're growing up that this book is just so masterful, it's the pinnacle of eloquence, it's superb in every way, and all the great minds who ever studied it know this, and that people fall down in prostration when they hear this. Then when you're hearing it, even if it's not terribly impressive to you, you think, well, I hope there's not something wrong with me. But obviously the fault can't be in the Quran. Everyone sees how wonderful the Quran is. So Maybe I just don't see it yet. Maybe I don't see how wonderful this is. But you know, I'll eventually figure that out. I'll eventually see it. Right now, you know, I don't know. Everyone agrees it's the greatest book ever written. So I guess people just keep going along with it. And then, but notice if you ever start to think for yourself and think, no, this book actually sucks. As a Muslim, you think, whoa, there must really be something wrong with me, right? I must be really out of touch with God if I'm thinking that this book is just absolutely silly and ridiculous. And so you don't want to think that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've just seen a comment where it's where Manny Thor said, how come it took you that long to figure that out, Apostate Prophet? And that's exactly what you are what you are trying to explain right now. It's just the Islamic indoctrination is so strong, so brutal. People who have not been familiar with this particular religion, people who have grown up in the West, who have only seen Christianity or other religions, or who have not even experienced these religions, think that all religions are just, you know, basically the same, and their teachings are just teachings, whatever. But Islam doesn't work like that. When you grow up in Islam, you are just told from a very, very young age that this is the absolute truth, and you better don't ask any wrong questions. You better don't say any wrong things. You better don't use this word. You better don't use that word. You better don't laugh. You better come to the Friday prayer, and listen to how only Islam is right about everything, how only Muslims are right, how Muslims are the most morally sublime people, and every other religious group is just a bunch of hypocrites that are against Muslims and against Islam, and you can't trust any of them. You can't be close friends with them. You can't converse with them. And all these things, you know, this indoctrination is so brutal. It is horrible. I mean, when I was a regular Muslim, when I wasn't even so religious at one point, I was still so terrified of ever having a wrong thought in my mind, you know, because it's not like in Christianity, where old scholars of Christianity told people that having doubt is part of someone's faith, that doubt is a normal human process, and that this is that doubt is what makes a human and what makes a human more faithful. You know, this is something, I don't know who that is. You probably know better who said that. There was someone at the early stages of Christianity. But Christian history is full of such writings. In Islam, it's the opposite. In Islam, you are told that that even the slightest bit of doubt, that even the slightest bit of any thought that goes outside the teachings of Islam is absolutely horrible and can directly bring you to hell. And you should repent, and you should. You know, it's disgusting. It's just disgusting. I don't know how else to describe it. It is nothing near other religions at all. It is brutal, and it really takes a lot of time, a lot of courage, a lot of studying to realize that that all the teachings of this religion, that everything that you have heard, everything you have seen, is just a bunch of nonsense. It took a while for me. I mean, I had to read the Quran several times until I figured out that I just need to be courageous, that I just need to, you know, to dare to let myself think all those things that I had in my mind. And yeah, that's all I have to say. Anyway, I want to read some super chats. Some people have been very nice to make super chats. I want to come to answer some questions. I want to make this live chat 1.5 hours long. I don't want to make it too long. We normally both say that, but then we go over 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I want to take the super chats. I want to. Thanks to Optimus27, who said gods don't exist, children. Well, thank you for your opinion, Optimus27. At least you don't have to be. What do you want to say about that, David?
Well, I mean, he super chatted, so he must know what he's talking about. And I mean, he's in the chat, so I guess all you have to do is say something. And,
okay,
and that makes it true, right? He's obviously a scholar.
It does make it. Do you want to make a super chat too, David?
Oh, wait, I can make a super chat and say God does exist. Oh, wow, that's all it takes.
Yeah, see.
And then you can just say children there, you know.
children. Are you doing it right now?
Yeah. You have to do it. You have to do it in that kind of tone. You have to say, "Oh, you guys, you Christians just need a sky daddy. You have daddy issues. It's a crotch. It's a crotch. Grow up, kids." Atheists are so original on YouTube.
I've had this discussion recently with Armin. I don't know if you've seen it. I had the discussion with Armin Navabi on whether religions are all bad, all wrong, about Christianity, this and that, and he was kind of trying to have this harsh discussion with me, trying to have a debate with me because I have sympathy with religions, and I don't think all religious people are stupid and whatever all that stuff is about. But, yeah.
I was just talking about this a little bit with Tim McGrew. Here's the situation. You would think if you're an atheist or an agnostic or something like that, that you really wouldn't care much about what people believe as long as it's, making them happy or something like that, right? You really wouldn't care because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what people believe when they die. It's all the same situation, right? So you would think and by the way, that's generally how many atheists were in the past, right? It was, I don't really care. Okay, I don't believe in God. I think belief in God is stupid, but I don't really care that most of the population believes in God. Now notice, that doesn't provide much of a stimulus for becoming an ideology that is spreading, right? If you don't care much about what people believe, you're not going to really go out and be forceful in evangelizing for that view if it doesn't really matter, right? So that's why atheists weren't tremendously vocal historically. But what you need is, if you can become convinced that religion is like this horrible force that's going to destroy humanity and end science and wreak havoc on the world and destroy the world. If you can do that, well, now you need to be aggressive and forceful in preaching your atheism, right? So it was sort of foundational to the new atheists and to the rise of the new atheists and to the spread of their views, that they viewed religion as this thing that's about to destroy us all if we don't stop it. It's going to ruin the world if we don't stop it. It's going to ruin science and stop science, and they're going to round us atheists up and they're going to kill us all or something like that if we don't get out there and stop it while we have a chance. And so it's kind of built into the fabric of atheists of that camp now, that religion is just like this horrible retrograde force for all of humanity that has to be stopped. And so when you, who would be more of a kind of classic atheist, who, I don't really care as long as it's not going to get me killed or something like that. I don't have a tremendous problem with what people believe, and don't have, fine, but believe whatever you want. Just don't kill me or stone me or something over that. Someone like you, then it's like, dude, you just don't know, man. You don't know. These guys are coming to kill you. They're going to come and kill you. They're going to ruin science. We're telling you, they're going to ruin science. They're going to, it's just going to be one big disaster if we don't deal with it right now, man. So all of humanity hangs in the balance of whether we stomp out religion right now while we still have the chance. If we don't, it's gonna take over and destroy us. So
yeah, I think people are very too sensitive. I mean, people are there are so many atheists around there. They are online now. I mean, I still think, to be very honest, that many atheists, maybe even most atheists, don't really care about this whole discussion. I think there are so many online just nowadays on social media who go around and just want to go after religion, wants to attack religions, want to attack religious people, whatever.
That's how you mobilize them, right?
Yeah.
If you have a worldview and you're, hey, this is my worldview, and at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what people believe. There's not much of an encouragement to go out and spread that worldview and convert other people to your worldview, right? Like, Hinduism and Buddhism, these religions generally aren't very aggressive in converting the entire world to their position. In order to really have that sort of missionary aspect to your worldview, to help it, that this has to spread around the world, you have to believe that these are matters of immense significance. So like in Buddhism, if you don't, well, great, you don't reach enlightenment or something like that. It's not, the Eastern religions, maybe you'll go through reincarnation or something like that. You'll eventually. So there's no rush and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Whereas Christianity, Islam, no, you have to believe right now, right? These are matters of eternal significance. Well, for atheism to kind of have that missionary quality to it, you have to absorb the idea that these are matters of tremendous significance. And man, it does matter that guy down the street is a Christian, because he's just, it's going to be horrible. It's going to be horrible if people like him continue to influence society. It's going to destroy all kinds of things. So you have to absorb that idea. And if you can absorb the idea that religion is like this horrible, horrible retrograde force and atheists are the solution. Notice it does the same thing that like Islam does, right? Muslims are the best of peoples. Unbelievers are the worst of creatures. And so you have this hierarchy. Well, if all of religion is this horrible retrograde force and atheists are the saviors of humanity, the rescuers of humanity, well, and plus they're the smartest, right? They're the ones who are really, really smart and have figured out the world, unlike, the Christians and the Muslims who just believe all these fairy tales and they can't think for themselves and stuff. That feels good to have that kind of thing, and that's what really sends people out. That's why we've got the new atheism now.
Yeah, it goes into very weird directions. I mean, just to make clear to everyone, people are asking me in the comment section, but I am technically an atheist, like many other people who don't believe in God and who go out there and want to, attack religion, whatever. I don't believe in God. It's true. I mean, I'm an atheist. I think about this issue so often. I think about many other aspects of it. I still keep thinking about it. I just don't feel the need to go out there and to attack people's belief in God. And I don't criticize Islam because people believe in Allah. I don't care. I really don't care about that.
Well, you should, because it's going to destroy everything. No, but that's how it looks to people, right? Now, yeah. Now tell me, do your fans and other atheists constantly tell you just don't know, you just haven't understood it, man? You need to be going after everyone. You need to be going after all religious people. There's something wrong with you. You haven't seen it. You haven't seen it yet.
I have been excluded from specific circles. I've been excluded from ex-Muslims to talk to because I'm not an anti-theist, because I'm not against all religion, and because I can think that Christianity, for example, is a quite okay religion, that I can sympathize with religions. Because of this, I'm not considered the best ex-Muslim. I'm not considered a good ex-Muslim. All the other stuff, all my presentations about how horrible Islam is and all the terrible stuff that Islam teaches is great, but I have to drop this one quality. How dare I not hate all religions? I mean, how dare I think for myself and just not go out there and think that all religious people are stupid? How dare I not think that? It is ridiculous. Anyway, so you say God exists. Fine, let's go on. Thanks, Optimus.
Wait, no. God exists, children. All right, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Optimus27, for your super chat. Grumpy Pothole made a super chat saying, "This donation is sent in the hope that you do not leave us without a jihad metaphor for the like button." David, I want to leave that to you.
Behead that like button.
You heard it. You heard it, everyone.
Strike the necks of the like button.
Cut the like button's hand and feet from the opposite sides. That's in the Quran.
Yeah.
That is in the Quran. For corruption.
So merciful too, on opposite sides, so you're not like all lopsided,
Yeah. So you don't have to walk, you don't have to crawl, you can just jump around, like to still hold something with your other hand. Oh man. Okay. But thanks, Grumpy. Yeah, thank you for your super chat. Mike Castellano said, "Stay away from Islam." I agree. Stay away from Islam. Let's make it loud. I actually made new merchandise products, new shirts and hoodies with "Stay away from Islam" on them. And I believe Gedalia here is sharing the links to my merch store. So you can get it there. I have this beautiful thing which says "Stay away from Islam." And yeah. You have recently started some merchandise stuff too, right, David?
Oh, yeah. That's one of the things I was working on while I was people have been asking me for, what really did it? It was funny because people for years have been saying, "Hey, we want merch. We want some shirts with this stuff on it." But my son Blaze, he goes, "Do you have merch?" And I go, "No, I've never taken the time." He goes, "Even like 11-year-old kids with 300 subscribers have merch on their channels." And I was like, "Gosh, they do, don't they?" if they can figure out merch, then I can. So yeah, I watched some tutorials and put together some merch.
Wonderful, wonderful. Oh, I took one question from the last super chat. Did I even do this right? Let me see. Oh yeah, sorry, Grumpy. That was from the last live chat. I thought it was from this one. Anyway.
Nice.
Anyway, you got a free shout out here. By the way, everyone, if you make super chats, don't forget to attach a question to that. I will gladly take super chats first because people are paying money, and yeah, that's just how the world works. Hydra Ninja said, "Love you from India." Thank you, Hydra Ninja. Thank you so much. Mike Castellano said, AP and David Wood, tube shows are great. How can you two take this to a level to reach more peeps? Also, David, what were your honest thoughts on Imam Tawhidi?
Well, people have asked why I didn't, respond to a lot of these things. And I said, it was an interview, right? I'm trying to allow him to state his views on a variety of topics. But I like Imam Tawhidi. I believe he's sincere. I obviously disagree with some of his interpretations of the Quran and his understanding of things like taqiyya and violence in Islam and things like that. But at the end of the day, if he agrees with my right to speak and he's calling out jihadis, I am all for it, and I hope he's successful in what he does. Mm-hmm. So that's my view on Imam Tawhidi.
That sounds fair. That sounds totally fair. I'll have a talk with him too a bit more in the future. He told me he has some more projects currently coming on. I want to have a little bit of a discussion with him about what kind of Islam he imagines for the future. Because I had a tough talk with him about that, and
I actually meant to ask him that, right? Like, do you think you can actually be successful with this? Like I asked the same thing to Ahmadis, right? Like, okay, Islam's going to keep spreading and stuff. Are people going to agree with you? Are they going to take your position, or is it going to be something else?
Yeah. That's an interesting thing that he really needs to answer. All right, thank you so much, Mike. Julie Mora is always here. Thank you, Julie, for being here again. Made a super chat and said, "Love you both. Thank you for all you do." Thank you so much. Julie Mora has a very interesting channel, by the way. She makes videos from a Canadian Western perspective, more about political issues, Islam issues, immigration issues, Islam itself, and so on. I think she only started last year or so. Julie, right? I would suggest everyone, if you're interested in such a thing, to go check her channel out, Julie Mora. Thank you, Julie. Jeff Robinson said, "A good tract on how Quran vouches for the Bible." I don't get the sentence.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Poor English skills, but
I think he's saying we should make a tract on how the Quran affirms the inspiration, preservation, and authority of the Jewish and Christian scriptures.
I get it.
That is, I may actually have one. If I don't, I'd like, I'll make one. That's an important topic.
Okay.
He's saying that because the video I released earlier today was a tract. I said, here's a tract that people can download. Mm-hmm. So I think he was recommending another tract topic.
Okay, I see. I wanted to make that too. I wanted to make that too as on my channel. I thought actually it would be a nice idea to make that together with you. You did something like that for before. Mm-hmm. I thought a project together, having you on my channel for once, would be nice as well. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Jeff Robinson. Seagull Tri-Peaks. Did you say Tree Peaks? Tri-Peaks? Whatever. Thank you for your super chat. There's no question attached. Please don't forget to attach questions to your super chats, everyone. If you want to make super chats, I would gladly answer them together with David here, who is gladly a guest on my channel. I like having you here, David. I like having conversations with you because I like that we can have very comfortable, very nice conversations together. We have so many things that we both disagree on. There are so many things we naturally disagree on, but we can come together, find some common thing, and just talk together nicely about all the stuff that we have in common. We have our differences. I mean, you are a white male racist Christian person, and I am an oppressed person of color, of Muslim background, and I need your help. and we can have these discussions together. That's very nice. Yeah. David Wood is not a racist, by the way, everyone. But he finds it good. Okay. Anyway, Flovican83 said, oh, he said nothing. He just made a donation and a super chat. Thank you, Flovican83. Martin W said, moin moin. Thank you, Martin W, for your super chat, and thank you for your comments. Mr. 762 said, keep up the great work, guys. Thank you. I believe David Wood is thankful as well for this. Mm-hmm. And Ultimate Challenger Gamers made just a super chat with nothing attached. Optimus27 said, again to you, how do you know a God exists, David?
Oh, how do I know a God exists?
Yeah.
Oh, all kinds of reasons, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Going down the line, just think of what's required for us to even be having a discussion like this, right? For us to be having this discussion, for you to be leaving comments here, we need a universe, right? Got to have a universe. So we happen to have a universe that began to exist. It has a beginning. Whatever begins to exist has a cause. If you throw that out, if you say things can begin to exist without a cause, and you've just thrown out cause and effect, I don't even know how we can be having any sort of rational discussion, right? Because thoughts could be just popping into my head totally at random, right? So if we're going to believe in things like cause and effect, then the universe must have a cause. If you start getting into what kind of cause it would have to be, well, if space and time come into existence with the universe, that's what you get from modern cosmology. If space and time come into existence with the universe, then what do you have? You've got your cause would have to be timeless and immaterial. Now it's starting to sound like God, but also powerful enough to bring the entire universe into existence from nothing. Now it's sounding omnipotent. So you're already starting with something that's sounding a lot like God, timeless, immaterial, omnipotent. But you don't just stop there. You can't just have any sort of universe. The universe could be a little tiny blob or something like that. That's not going to allow us to have this conversation. So it needs to be finely tuned for life. Only certain kind of universes would even be life permitting. You look at the constants of physics. You look at the ratios of the masses of certain atomic particles and so on. Everything is vastly finely tuned. The probabilities of getting a universe like ours that would be life permitting are so mind-boggling. You can't even get your mind around them. You would have to win the lottery. Imagine. Let me put it like this. Imagine someone comes up to you and says, man, I just won the lottery. Well, you'd say, oh, cool. What if he wins the next lottery? You say, wow, this guy's the luckiest man ever. What if he wins like 7,000 lotteries in a row? You start thinking there's no way. There's something going on here, right? There's a scam going on here. Well, that's what you find when you start examining cosmology. Everything's like that. Everything is, we won the jackpot in every possible way in this universe to get something that's life permitting. Looks like something had us in mind. Doesn't make much sense on atheism, makes perfect sense on theism. But you can have a finely tuned universe. You still need other things. You need complex biological organisms. Notice what sort of thing you would need to even get the process of evolution started. In order to even evolve complex creatures, you start from the simplest living organism. It has to be a certain kind of thing already. One, it has to be able to make copies of itself. So by the time you get life, it already has to have the ability to make copies of itself, right? If it can't make copies of itself, it can't evolve. So one, it needs to make copies of itself. Two, it needs to make copies that aren't perfect copies of itself, because if there's no variation, then you certainly aren't going to get evolution. So you need variation. So it has to make copies of itself, but not exact copies of itself. But three, it has to make copies of itself that are very close to itself, because if they aren't very much like itself, then it won't preserve any beneficial traits. So you need something very specific at the very beginning of the entire process of evolution, and you need DNA to preserve that genetic information. And DNA just happened. What's that?
I have so many objections to that. Go on.
Oh. Okay. Well, if you want to get schooled, you can. We can debate. DNA, right? DNA is the most sophisticated information storage system known to man. Every computer that we have right now, that we're on right now, is a sad joke compared to DNA. If you had a teaspoon of DNA, that would hold the genetic information of every organism that has ever existed, and still have enough left over for every book that has ever been written. Massively sophisticated information storage system. And again, you need that. You need that at the very beginning. If you look at more some of the other things, it basically at the bottom of life, You need proteins. You need to get proteins somehow. They're the things that are doing all the work inside your cells, that are performing all the functions. The simplest life that we can conceive of, I think, has around 250 medium length proteins doing all the work. That's the simplest life that we can even conceive of. The chances that you would get even one of those proteins by chance, just amino acids coming together in that order to form those proteins, is so improbable that you're not going to get one of those in the entire history of the universe by chance. And you need 250 of them for the simplest life that we can even conceive of that would qualify as life. So the idea that you would just get that by chance, and what's amazing is that atheists will just take it as a given, right? They won't deal with the probabilities because they can't. So, hey, it's the long universe. Guys, I want to be clear here. In the universe, you have a finite amount of matter, you have a finite amount of time, right? You can actually take all the particles in the universe. There are about 10 to the 80th particles in the entire universe. So that's your maximum number of particles that you have to work with. You can take that, multiply it by the entire number of seconds since the Big Bang, and then multiply that by the upper limit would be that particles are interacting at the speed of light. When you do that, you end up with the maximum amount of possible particle interactions ever, right? You take the entire number of particles in the universe, say, we'll pretend that they're all interacting at the speed of light, and that we have the entire number of seconds since the Big Bang. And that's the maximum number of possible particle interactions in the entire history of humanity. Again, if you do that, you are not even close to getting one protein by chance. But you need 250 of them all in the same place to get the simplest imaginable life. And you would not, atheists generally wouldn't even look at that as any sort of problem. Nope, weird stuff happens. No, it doesn't. Not that weird. So you can go down the line about human beings, human consciousness, laws of logic, moral laws. Basically, what do we need to even be having these conversations right now? We need a lot of things, all of which presuppose God, and all of which make absolutely no sense if we don't have something to cause the universe, something to fine-tune nature, something to create life, something to give rise to consciousness, a foundation for the logical order of the cosmos, the foundation for the moral order. You need all kinds of things for what we have right now. And it would be one thing if you said, you know, I don't agree with you, David, and I'm still an atheist, but I at least see why you would think that. But that's not what atheists nowadays say. They say you're a stupid moron for thinking that. You're the dumbest person ever. And we, who can't really answer much of anything you said, we're the truly enlightened ones who have to smash you.
I didn't know the response to that question would be so long, David.
Well, you shouldn't have. I mean, why do you believe in God? Well, I mean, you could go all kinds of other things, right? You go miracles and resurrection and all kinds of things. But
I can imagine the amount of people who have an objection to that and who would want me to voice the objections to you, especially from my side. So everyone, how about a debate on God's existence between David Wood and me? What do you think?
Oh yeah.
I'm not going to do that. I'm just kidding.
No, I was just saying it would be cool because we would do it like friendly, right?
Yeah.
Like
I still wouldn't do it. I don't care.
Yeah.
I have serious problems with the logic, with theological arguments. I have serious problems with the belief that that God exists, that the specific God exists, and so on. But I wouldn't go out there and just and try to fight that and have a debate about that. It's just I don't think there's any use for me in doing that. It's. Mm-hmm. I leave that to people who really have the nerve to do that, to put up with that, to go out there and go after such a useless and ridiculous aim. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry to everyone who thinks that I'm totally going against their progressive goal, but I seriously don't think that's something I should be focusing on at all. And I'm focusing on something else that I think I should really be focusing on, because that's good. That's going great. But yeah, if we're not going to have a debate about religion, we can at least still have a rap battle together. So everyone who is for a rap battle between David Wood and Apostate Prophet, please say yes now. Okay.
It's got to be in German though.
Oh,
we got to make it fair for you.
Oh yeah. You know, I used to write rap text when I was a teenager. I used to.
I did, but I started like when I was in elementary school.
Oh, you did?
They were not great, but I wrote them. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to write them in German when I was a teenager in Germany at school, and they were quite cool. But later, I stopped doing that.
Did you listen to the Fantastische Vier?
No, that was too old for me.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I had newer people, newer rappers. So anyway, thank you for your extensive answer to the question why you believe God is real. Optimus27 made even another super chat in which he expressed his thoughts that religion will eventually die out by itself and so on. But I don't want to go into it again. Optimus27, thank you so much for your super chat.
I would like a brief response to that because it's I mean
2 words.
Yeah, just think about that, right? Eventually, religion's going to die out. You look at the actual studies by like Pew Research, right?
2 words.
No. This is because this is massively important because so many atheists are saying this, right? Religion is just going to die on atheism. Atheism is spreading. All my friends are atheists. It's religion's dying, and they're looking at like their little circle and not paying attention to actual global trends. Actual Pew Research, even taking into account conversion, people leaving religion and becoming atheists. Atheism is shrinking. Atheism and agnosticism are shrinking as portions of the global population. In other words, the percentage of atheists in the world is declining year after year. The percentage of Muslims is increasing, and it's due to birth rates, right? As soon as people become atheists, they just tend to not have as many children as Muslims or even Christians. So Islam is growing rapidly, Christianity is growing rapidly, atheism is declining, and that's what the actual studies show. Even taking into account people leaving religion and becoming atheists, which tends to be more in United States and Europe. And guess what? There's a big world out there. But notice, you have atheists who claim to be the champions of facts and reason and statistical science and all this. And you look at the actual evidence, it says they're shrinking, but nope, atheism expanding and religion's just dying. And it's a total fantasy world, dude.
You know what I see that when I look at those at those Pew polls, at the whole research on how not Pew polls, on the research on how the religious landscape will be in the future. Mm-hmm. It looks to me what is happening there is that first off, atheism is not really taken into consideration as people who don't believe in God any longer, or who just don't believe in God don't immediately go out and say, "Oh, I'm an atheist. I don't believe in this." They just most people don't care to be very
well. It's the category is just non-religious, right? It's just people who are non-religious. Uh-huh. That category is shrinking. So it's basically, yes, you do have people who are becoming, again, it tends to be in the United States and Europe, but they're becoming non-religious or less religious or something like that. But that's just not happening anywhere near as quickly as Muslims having babies. It's just not. You guys are way too slow. So what you would have to believe as an atheist to maintain that is, yes, all of the actual statistics say that Islam is growing much faster than people are becoming atheists, but it's just going to change. That's just going to change. Muslims are going to stop having babies, or they'll be leaving Islam so fast that they can have all the babies they want. Those babies are just going to leave that. But notice, you're not basing that on any actual evidence or data. You just have to hope that happens. But if you're just basing your beliefs on hopes and fantasies, then I don't know why you guys would claim to be the champions of reason and science. So I leave that with the commenter.
Okay.
But thank you for the super chat.
Yeah, thank you for the super chat, Optimus27. That's the last Optimus27 super chat that I'll read. But thank you so much, Optimus27. I would like to point out that there is this thing. I want to make a video about that whole research again sometime. I did it before at the very beginnings of my YouTube activities. Pew Research actually goes after the claim that Islam is the fastest growing religion because people are converting to Islam, and reveals to us that the actual fact that Islam is not the fastest growing religion because people convert to Islam. It is the fastest growing religion because in poor countries, in countries where, and Islam has, if we ignore some African countries, Islam has the least developed, the poorest countries in the world, and those have high birth rates and low age. I mean, younger aged populations, which is the sole reason why Islam is growing so rapidly.
You know what's interesting about that? I'll just add this as a quick point was, yeah, it's the highest birth rates were in like certain underdeveloped countries and stuff like that. But wherever Islam was, it still had higher birth rates than the non-Muslim populations. Like whether it's America or Europe, Africa, Asia, wherever it happened, even if Islam had low birth rates compared to Islam in Africa, it still had higher birth rates than the Christian population, than the atheist population, than the Buddhist population, and so on. So wherever Islam goes, it just produces the most babies.
Well, if people are familiar with Muslim culture and with Islam very much maintains that that way of thinking, that making the most babies, that making endless babies is like a big honor thing. And Islam still maintains the whole continuity of family, making as many children as possible, spreading your seed, just the way people thought 1,000 years ago. So that's still very prevalent, and it still keeps itself alive.
Well, I think it's actually related to the impact that Islam has on women. If you don't believe that your daughter needs to go out and have a career and needs to be educated, and she needs to go get married off at a young age and stuff like that, then you just end up having if you don't have many opportunities for women in your culture, there's nothing for them to do except get married and have babies. And so you just end up with a lot of babies. And by the time, a Western non-Muslim woman is finishing college and starting her career, and then she wants to put off children until she's firmly established in her career, she has her first child at 35 years old. By that time, the Muslim girl who was married off at 13 or 14 has 12 kids. And so that's what's happening.
Absolutely. If you go out in the Muslim world, even to the most developed Muslim majority countries like Turkey, for example, I spent 10 years in Turkey. You will see that it is very common for young girls, for teenagers, to so many of them. I wouldn't say too many of them, and I wouldn't say it's the vast majority of the population, but to many, it is completely normal to just ditch education, to just say no to university, and just go out working at some poor jobs to gather a little bit of money, and then look for the husband to go out and get married and to start making children. Because that's the role they play. And in Turkey, that is even. I mean, that's even very modern for the Islamic world, and that's because it's Turkey. In other countries, women don't even go out to work and make money that much. They immediately start getting into preparing for the role of being the good wife, and finding the next good husband, who not even the good husband. The woman doesn't even have much of a choice, much of a say in that. But to find a good husband and to start producing babies, to start starting the factory, basically. That's how it works. And just to come back to the Pew Research, according to the Pew Research, that many Muslim people, that many advocates of Islam as a true religion, as the fastest growing religion, as they conveniently ignore, that same study also tells us in clear numbers that by their estimation, and they say that they can't even properly estimate this because it's simply not possible. By their estimation, the growth of Islam is only to 0.3% due to conversion, and they suspect that it's even much lower because so many people are leaving Islam without telling us, or without telling everyone that they left Islam. 99.7% of Islam's growth is due to high birth rates and the young age. That's it. And that's what people are proud of. That's why people are proud that Islam is the fastest growing religion, because people breed like crazy. That is something to be proud of. It's
yeah. And I point this out because I'm sure that you hear the same thing, but with me, every discussion I have with a Muslim, he starts going through his evidences for Islam and stuff like this. And, when those don't work, it's just, well, Islam's the fastest growing religion. And that's the case cracker there. But you basically have two things: Islam growing as a percentage of the world population, and Islam growing in the West. Islam is growing as a percentage of the world's population, as you pointed out, due to birth rates and to the young marriages and so on. So due to its impact on women, not giving women opportunities apart from making babies. So that's the source of Islam expanding rapidly on a global scale. As far as it's spreading in the West, It's also the birth rates, but there it's a lot of immigration. So it's Muslims fleeing Muslim countries and trying to get to non-Muslim countries. And why is that? Why would Muslims be trying to flee Muslim countries as fast as they can to get anywhere else, to get to a Western nation? Well, it's Islam just does a really horrible job of making stable societies that anyone would ever want to live in. And so they hear the claim, Islam's the fastest growing religion. Yay, that's the proof of Islam. Well, why is Islam growing in the West? Why is it growing as a portion of the world's population? Due to Islam's horrible treatment of women, and due to Islam's inability to create countries that people actually want to live in. That's the source of the spread of Islam. That's your evidence, right? Because think about this. I can make something even more powerful than that, right? I could make a religion where women are just strapped to chairs and they just have to crank out babies one after another and they don't do anything else. Well, that's gonna produce a lot of new adherents of my ideology. And then if I made it like completely unlivable so that every single adherent of my religion had to be taken to other places as refugees, oh, that would be an amazing way to spread a religion. But what in the name of common sense would that have to do with this religion being true? Weird stuff.
Absolutely. Pew Research even made this this study in which they titled what's that? Converts to Islam offset by people who leave Islam, and in which they explain to us that that just as many people are officially leaving Islam as people are converting to Islam in America, and we don't even know about the unofficial ones, and more people who stop believing in Islam and who leave Islam do it unofficially. So really, if people believe that Islam has a great future in the West due to conversion, that is terribly wrong. That's not going to happen. And every research is on our side in this. Anyways, I was at the questions. Thank you so much. Sasha L made a super chat saying, "Bless you, AP." Thank you, Sasha L. Ultimate Challenger Gamer said, "Debate with Mohammed Hijab, apostate prophet." No, thank you. No, thank you. Seriously, I would.
Yeah, they all say that. I mean, think about that. I mean, after you pull the kind of stunts that people like Mohammed Hijab pull, how do you even set up a debate knowing that he's going to break every rule you're forced to agree to? How do you do that, right? That you have to have some base level of integrity for you to. It takes a lot to set up a debate, right? And if it's not going to be just some yelling at each other free for all or something like that, and you're actually going to say, okay, here are the rules. Well, when you've got the Muslim side of the debate saying, here are the rules. No, we want to keep it friendly. No personal attacks, no insults, no going off topic and stuff. And you say, okay, I agree to that. That sounds like I could work with that. And then the Muslim debater breaks everything. This is not just Mohammed Hijab. I've had this a lot with Muslims. There are people like Shabir Ali. I've never had any problem with Shabir Ali, but there are others who it's like they revel in it, right? Like they enjoy having deceived the person and tricked the person into agreeing to certain terms and then violating them. I mean, Muhammad said war is deceit. So some people actually view that as a good thing. But once you've done that and you've actually been caught and people know, hey, when this person says, here are the rules of the debate, that person is not going to honor them. He's just going to run right out. How do you then tell other people, well, you have to agree to debate this person?
We have your debate with Mohammed Hijab as an example, where everyone has seen how horrible he was in completely violating the ethics of a debate.
And by the way, I know I go after your prophet and stuff like that. I know that, so I don't have a problem with people insulting me or something like that. It was. They're requiring all sides to agree ahead of time that there would be no personal attacks, that there would be no going off topic, that there would be none of these things, and then him violating it just right out the gate and doing it throughout the entire debate. It was that sense of, oh, you got me with that, right? You got me with that, agreeing to come out and debate because these are going to be the rules and we're going to be friendly and so on. And you get there and it's just an insult fest. You realize that, and it's so again, I wouldn't have any problem with people insulting me. People insult me all day. I have pretty thick skin. It's the deceiving me to get me into a situation where, I mean, if you just wanted to insult me, then say you want to insult me, I'll sit there. You have a roast, have a D-Wood roast. I'll sit there while you roast me. I don't care about that. It's the deception that I can't handle. And I've never had that problem with atheists. I've debated a number of atheists. I've never had a problem with atheists saying, hey, here are the rules, and then going out and violating them. I probably 7 or 8 of the Muslim debaters that I've faced have just completely lied or done something utterly diabolical in the course of the debate, usually getting people to agree to terms, agree to rules ahead of time, and then just completely violating them.
That is
shameful.
That's because Muslims are naturally morally superior, which is why they can, why they can violate such etiquettes like that of a debate, because they are morally superior. They can act morally horribly, because they are morally superior. It doesn't make sense, but that's just how it works, I guess. I've just recently seen a little bit of a debate between 2 atheists and Mohammed Hijab and some other guy, Abdullah al-Andalusi or so. And I don't know, I've seen that pop up, and I thought, oh, should I really do that to myself right now? And I watched like a little bit of it. I watched the first 2 minutes of everyone who spoke. I'm telling you, I'm not exaggerating. The atheist guys are just talking, especially the one atheist guy. He's totally respectful, totally normally talking. Then comes the first Muslim, who makes a little bit of, he doesn't act too disrespectfully. I don't want to be too unfair with him. He was still okay. But then comes this older atheist guy who makes a talk. He's not necessarily very respectful to the religion, but doesn't make giant personal attacks. And then comes Mohammed Hijab. Mohammed Hijab is louder than all 3 of them combined, and he yells, and he makes personal attacks, and he yells into the crowd, and he challenges his audience to prove him wrong, and to, it's just this giant show of just arrogance and disrespect to every person he comes across. And I don't like talking about people so critically, talking about individuals so critically, but I have really absolutely no problem talking about him in any way at all, because seeing him talk to people, seeing him talk about people, it is just disgusting. Even at that debate, at the end, he deceives the moderator and holds a short speech. He asks the moderator to hold a short speech of like a minute or so, and then he turns it into 2 minutes and talks more than 2 minutes about and makes his own speech after the debate, as a single person. It's just, I don't know. You can't debate such people. I would never ever go out and agree to a debate with someone who I know will not respect me, who I know will not have a reasonable discussion with me. I can disrespect Islam. I can disrespect Muhammad. I can disrespect Allah. I can disrespect the Quran. Fine. You can come and you can disrespect my beliefs. You can say that that my beliefs are complete nonsense, that they are idiotic. Whatever. Say whatever you want. But if you're going to personally disrespect me and insult me and try to belittle me in front of an audience to gain some applause and whatever you want, then just go away and leave the discussion to reasonable people who know how to talk to each other. Anyway, thanks. 99 Nickety said, David, how do you deal with dinosaurs? Let's not. Do you want to say like 2 words about it? 2 words.
I would deal with dinosaurs like anyone else would deal with dinosaurs. They died. They died. We have some fossils. That's about it.
Okay. You can extensively answer to such things on a separate platform if you want to. But thank you so much, 99 Nickety. Sorry for brushing it off like this. It's just there are many more super chats in line, and I wanted to be done with the live chat actually 15 minutes ago. Anyway, Optimus27 made another super chat about Christians, God, Christianity, but this would be the 4th that we would be talking about. That's why I would have to skip this. But thank you so much, Optimus27, for another super chat. Cheryl R said in a super chat, yes, children, what David said. and said super chats to make it so. Well, thank you, Cheryl. Nadaverse said, AP, check out the YouTube channel Be the Bee, which provides easy to understand insights on Eastern Orthodoxy, like the Orthodox perspective on heaven and hell, and many other questions. Very interesting. I will do that. I'll take your advice, Nadaverse. Thank you so much for your super chat. Let me make a quick note of this. I would gladly do that. I'm quite interested, actually. Thank you. Jay Sky said there are many documentaries challenging the Bible, Christianity, and the existence of Jesus, but not many challenging Islam, its prophets, and its prophet and facts. I know, I'm aware of that, which is why I have some ideas that I would actually love to discuss with you, David, as well, for several documentaries that I want to make, because I see that there are so many topics that no one ever made books about, that no one ever made documentaries about, that no one ever made anything about, because people don't dare make such things about Christianity at all, or about Muhammad, or about Allah, which is why we have to go out there and do some things about that.
No, that's actually, I mean, you know, on the one hand, it looks like we are in really, really horrible, sucky times. But on the other hand, these are awesome times, right? We're the first generation that actually gets to do this and gets to spread this information. So it's awesome. These are awesome times to live in, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely, and we need to do that. We really. I have so many ideas that I want to make documentaries about, like about the history of Islam, or so many things that could be challenged. I'm currently writing a book, which I believe will be great. I hope I'm not overestimating myself or the book, but I think it will be great. And weren't you working on a book, David?
I've gone on and off with. You may have experienced this too. I just like making videos, right? I love making videos. It messes up your brain because it's like instant gratification. You post a video and wow, 70,000 people watched it by the next morning when you wake up. It's awesome. Whereas a book, it's working on it for a year and then it still doesn't even come out for a year and stuff like that. So it's always it's always like, oh, it's a matter of procrastination, right? I keep putting that off because it's like massively delayed gratification versus the videos, which you just crank out and it's awesome and fun. Yeah, I love making videos, but I understand there are people who read and prefer getting their information from books. So you gotta take into account those people as well.
Absolutely. I'm currently working on it as well.
What's it called?
I want to reveal it.
Oh, okay.
But I'll reveal it quite soon, I think, if I'm a bit more into it. I kind of hinted at the title. I need to think it through, and then I might actually come doing that.
Stay away from Islam.
No. There's actually no problem with revealing it, but I just want to give it a little bit more time to work on it a little bit more.
That's right. You also don't want someone stealing your title. It'd be funny. Yeah. It'd be funny if you said your title and then I wrote a book real quick and
I would sue you. I would come. I would come for you.
Funny thing is, there's actually like no copyright on titles, so there's nothing you could do if I stole your title.
Oh, awesome. Anyway, it will be great. I'm currently working on it, but as you said, I'm also trying to make all these other projects. I'm on YouTube, and it takes all your time away, and there is nothing left for the book, no energy left for that. But my goal is to have it done by the end of this year. So everyone, I'll definitely do that and spread it. Mm-hmm. Okay, top student said Islamism is disgusting. Stay away from Islam. Thank you, top student, for your super chat. Everyone, stay away from Islam. Let's remind everyone of that again and again. Stay away from Islam. Moreza Mustafovsky said, David, you're more intelligent than your own Bible, which description it is in very primitive and mythological way. Yeah, he means that you're more intelligent than your Bible because it describes things in a primitive and mythological way. What are your 2 words on this? 2 words.
Well, I mean, I don't think it describes things in a mythological way. If you're talking about the foundations of Christianity, like the Gospels and so on, these are written as straightforward biographies by some very well-educated people, like Luke, who was a doctor. So, no, I mean. But apart from that, right, it's not just the way it's written, right? That's a Muslim position. It's the way that it's written that shows you that it's the word of God. Christianity stands or falls with the resurrection of Jesus. And the difference between Christianity and something like Islam is when you're given a reason for believing in Islam, the second you start to examine it, you see there's absolutely nothing there, right? When they say, because the Quran has been perfectly preserved, that's how you know the Quran is true. The second you start examining that, you realize how silly it is. And you realize the Quran hasn't been perfectly preserved. Even if it were perfectly preserved, that would mean it was perfectly preserved. It wouldn't mean that it was the word of God. So the arguments for Islam, they immediately fall away, right? I noticed that. I noticed that when I started studying Islam. Actually started studying Islam before I started studying Christianity, just so you know. When I started studying Christianity, I assume that the resurrection is going to be the exact same thing. Okay, so Christians running around saying, oh, Jesus rose from the dead. You're going to examine that. You're going to find out it's based on absolute nonsense. When you examine it, and I'm talking, you can go to the highest levels of scholarship here. What you find, every respected scholar on the planet on this issue believes that Jesus' death is a fact of history. People like Bart Ehrman call it one of the best established facts of history. And they agree across the board that Jesus' followers were at least convinced that he had appeared to them risen from the dead. And so you can say, I'm going to reject it. I don't care if they believed it or not. But with me, I'm sitting there asking myself the question, what convinced these guys that they had seen a man risen, not just one person, a bunch of people. What convinced these guys that they had seen a man risen from the dead to such an extent that they're willing to go to their horrible, bloody deaths for it? What convinced them that they saw this thing, right? This is not people hearing something and believing in a message. Like a Muslim today can believe in something and wage jihad for it. But at the end of the day, he's not dying for something he saw or witnessed. He's dying for some message he heard and he believed, right? Same thing with a Christian believing, today. If I go out and I die for what I believe in right now, then it's because of a message that I heard from someone else. And so, but with the resurrection, they're dying for something that they saw, right? That they saw. What could convince all of these people that they had seen a man risen from the dead and that he was appearing to them over a period of days? What could convince them of that? So you can still reject it. You can still say, I don't believe in miracles. I don't believe in God. I don't believe that happened. But what you find, you can't say it's nothing, right? You can't say it's there. The point is there's something there. Other places like Islam, you start examining the evidence. There's nothing there. In Christianity, there's something there. There's something there. That's what I saw. And so that's what in other words, that's what the belief in Christianity is based on. It's not the way a book is written or something like that. And just so you know, the genre there is not myth. It's Greco-Roman biography.
Okay. So we'll have a debate about whether it is real or not with David Wood and I. And everyone can see how that goes. Just kidding, that wouldn't happen.
Hey, you know what we should do sometime? We used to do this in philosophy. We should have a debate, but we have to argue the other person's position for him.
Really?
Yeah, you have to argue for Christianity. I have to become like a devout atheist. We used to do that, and we had a philosophy group where we do that, and it actually ended up in the papers and stuff like that.
Wow.
The group it was called Philosophy Slam, but I would actually have a timer, and at the end of every 10 minutes, people had to switch their position to another position and still defend it. And it was basically it was training in being able to see things from another person's perspective and trying to defend it and trying to respond to your own position, in other words, trying to criticize your own position. So it's kind of a
I think I would be good in criticizing my own position. I don't know about the argument for the existence of God. So someone asked me recently if I could make a list of points why I agree with the existence of God and why I disagree with the existence of God, and I made that list. I'm normally good at looking at things from two perspectives, from two sides, or at least I believe I am. But on that matter, really, I ended up with a huge list of why I don't believe it, and with almost no reason why I could believe it. So I don't know how that would work out on my side. But anyway, maybe I might explain that at some point. I always wanted to make a video about why I don't believe, but I kind of don't want to bring all that into this work, because I dedicate my whole thing to Islam. I might actually at some point create a different channel, a different platform where I can share personal thoughts about things. But because the whole God or not issue is to me a personal thought. That's all. But thank you, Nate 2D2 said in a super chat. Thank you, Nate 2D2. Dr. David, what do you really think of Vocab Malone? Is that supposed to be a question?
Vocab?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's asking that little punk. No, I'm actually going to be live with Vocab and John tomorrow, because this is the year anniversary of Islamicize Me. So we're going to get together and probably post some bloopers during the live stream, and maybe one or two deleted scenes that didn't actually end up making it into the cut for one reason or another. But No, my main criterion for, for a really awesome person is, man, if you're willing to put your life on the line to get a message across, you're cool. You're cool in my book. And man, I contact Vocab and say, hey, Vocab, here's this new series. We're going to have this, you're going to be Muhammad and you're going to be having a discussion with other people. And then they're going to keep proving how dumb you are. And then you're going to blow them up at the end of it. He's like, cool, awesome idea. Right. So, nope, that's I think Nate probably wants me to diss him, right? He wants me to talk a bunch of trash about him, but I could do that tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we had a roast of Vocab where I dissed him a lot. So you can go back and watch that roast. That's on his channel.
Okay. So what David Wood actually was meaning to say right now when he was giving Vocab Malone as an example for people whom he finds awesome because they, do this and that. What he was actually meaning to say was that David Wood finds Apostate Prophet awesome.
That's true. That's true, right?
I know it's true. I know.
Yeah. Yeah. So now here's the situation, right? Like, I know that I'm always I have no fear of death. You can saw my head off. I don't care. I will, that's why multiple times Muslims have said, if you meet me here, I'll kill you. And I go down there and they're not there. I know I'm like that, at least in part because of a mental defect, right? I'm a psychopath. I like that sort of thing. When other people are like that, they're still willing to die for that sort of thing. I think, wow, these are just really awesome people. So.
I just have a problem, I think.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with me. It's just that's the whole issue. I have an obsession with brutal depictions of things, I always liked brutal movies, like bloody, dark movies. I liked A Clockwork Orange. And I think for a person like me who is into such stuff, I think it was the best thing to just go out and criticize Islam.
Mm-hmm.
That's complete nonsense, whatever.
I thought that, wow. It's like, wow, I finally understand him. He's got massively violent urges. And instead of taking them out on people, he takes them out on an ideology. That's awesome.
No. That actually makes sense, but no. I do like A Clockwork Orange and stuff like that, but no, I don't have such urges. At least that's what I claim I don't have in public.
That's good.
Anyway, thank you, Nate2D2. Wait, where am I? Where am I? Sasha L said, God is a relational when you hear God speak. I don't know what that means, Sasha L. I believe you mean, I don't know what you mean. I hope you can revise that, but thank you for your super chat. EMH said, do you believe that Islam will have a reformation that saves it in the West? I do. For me, I'll give the microphone to David Wood through the display. I personally don't believe that that Islam will have any kind of reformation in the West at all. I believe that Islam will be intellectually dying so quickly that no reformation will be able to save it. It won't be like in other situations where we have seen that people resorted to reformation or whatever. I don't believe that Islam has that chance. And I believe people who go around trying to reform Islam and the Muslim community are doing that in vain. It's not going to happen. People are waking up to the nonsense of Islam and to what a piece of garbage the Quran is, and what a horrible person Muhammad was. And people like David Wood and I are making this much easier for everyone, gladly. What do you think, David? Any chance
people can reform, right? You can have people can be reformed. As soon as Islam reforms, it's just not Islam anymore, right? I mean, it's in it's in the text, right? Surah 4, verse 65. You can have no real faith until you make Muhammad judge in all disputes and you find no resistance against his teachings and you accept his teachings with full submission. So Islam means submission. How do you submit to Allah? You submit to Allah by obeying everything Muhammad says. The second you start saying, well, we can go our own way and we can reform it and we can do things better, you're claiming to be a higher authority than Muhammad, and you're not submitting. And so it's just no longer Islam. It's no longer submission. It may be Islam-ish, right? it may be Islam-ish. You're doing some things that Islam teaches, but it's just not Islam. And so so I don't have high hopes for Islam ever being reformed.
Fair enough. Thank you. I agree. Okay, let's go on. Let's move on quickly. Thank you, EMH, for your super chat. Top student said, Apostate Prophet, you and David Wood are the best. Thank you for that, top student. Thank you for your super chat as well. Thank you so much. Nadaverse said, AP, a little clarification. The YouTube channel, which has the B series that explain core Orthodox beliefs, is actually called Y2AM. I will check that out. Thank you, Nadaverse, for your suggestion. I'm quite interested in actually older Christian writings and texts. I recently ordered this thing. What's it called? I don't even know what it's called. It was from an old, whatever. Catherine Linda Clark said in a super chat, a factual movie about Muhammad would cause mayhem. Absolutely. That should happen, though.
Oh, it should happen, all right.
It should happen.
If all else fails, I'm just going to make a Lego stop motion movie of Life of Muhammad. And I'll do all the voices.
I would imagine that to be amazing. Can you give us a little taste of how that would sound?
Which one?
I don't know, just voices from
I'd probably make Muhammad like a really whiny. I don't know.
That's what he sounds like. When I read the Quran, it looks to me so much like the Jews were constantly mocking him, and he was
yeah, they were.
He was just letting his frustration out in the Quran. You know?
Yeah. No, it was. I mean, if you look at the Meccan surahs, and it's I'm with the Jews and the Christians, and we're all together, and we're the true monotheists, and we're all against you pagans. And then he moves there, and they're like, "You have no clue what you're talking about, dude. You're a moron." And then, the Jews, these bad Jews corrupting everything, and they don't know what to do, and it's me and the Christians against the Jews and the pagans. And then the Christians are like, dude, you have no clue what you're talking about. Fine, I'll subjugate all of you. That would be my Muhammad voice, by the way.
That was awesome. That was awesome.
Peace be upon me.
Awesome. Great demonstration. Onesimus Sands said to David, what's your opinion on Dave Hunt's books?
I've never read one, so I have no opinion.
Okay, but thank you for the super chat anyway, Mr. Onesimo. Grumpy said in a super chat, who does Muhammad meet so far?
Oh,
in the series.
Is that about the series?
I guess so, yeah.
Well, no one. We haven't made it yet, so.
Yeah. I guess it's about plans if you have any. But you said at the beginning of the chat already.
Yeah. So we're going to be recording the first batch of those videos. So it's definitely going to be Muhammad meets Socrates for the first one, and then it's who else am I going to record? What other videos? Maybe I might do the Apostle Paul at that point. Muhammad meets the Apostle Paul, and maybe Muhammad meets Satan or something like that in that batch, just because it's easy to get a Satan costume. Some of these costumes are hard to get a good costume, but yeah.
Anyway, the most important one is Muhammad meets apostate prophet. That's what everyone needs to know.
Oh yeah, they're going to have the battle about who's the final prophet,
the real final prophet. Okay, thank you, Grumpy, for your super chat. Hydra Ninja said, "What will happen if Islam comes in majority?" Well, that's what happens in the Islamic world. That's what has been happening in the Islamic world forever. But thank you for your super chat, Hydra Ninja. Okay, I guess we are through. No more super chats coming in here. Yeah, that was all. We have been talking for 30 minutes longer than I actually thought we would be talking.
And we always do that.
We always do that. You do that. I do that. It's crazy how we get there. Why we do that. Anyway, someone asked me at the beginning how I have been managing my anxiety stuff. I just want to respond quickly to that. I have been getting out of my anxiety thanks to the prayers of Christians here. No, seriously, jokes aside, I appreciate all those prayers, because I believe that people are genuinely meaning well when they do that. So I really thank you so much. I appreciate all that. But I want to introduce this amazing thing to everyone who has ever dealt with anxiety. This thing called ashwagandha. It is a herbal product from India, and I have researched so much. I have turned the internet upside down to find a solution to my whole issue. At least I have found solutions in managing the whole thing in my mind, to just getting out of that situation whenever I start having anxiety. For example, at the beginning of this conversation, I started getting anxiety a little bit, but I was like, I just shook myself out of it, because I thought nothing's going to happen. I'm not going to die. Because that's something that people always think when they have anxiety, that something horrible is going to happen, that you're going to die, that you're going to have a heart attack. But anyway, aside from the whole mental stuff, the whole mental gymnastics, I tried this wonderful herbal supplement called ashwagandha, and it has worked miracles. I would really suggest anyone who has been dealing with anxiety, who has newly started having anxiety, to give it a chance to try that. It is really amazing in how much it has worked for me so far.
I got a better cure.
What is it?
Camel urine. It's Muhammad's miracle magic cure-all.
Oh man, Muhammad, what did you do to us? see what Muhammad does to our conversations. See what Muhammad did to such a brilliant conversation as we had right now. We're talking about camel urine. Thank you, Muhammad. Thank you, Prophet Muhammad. We're talking about camel urine because of you. Dear Muslims, we're talking about camel urine, about drinking camel urine, about getting cured by drinking camel urine because of your prophet, because of the writings of your prophet. Sorry, the sayings of your prophet, because your prophet was eternally illiterate. And that's why we are talking about camel urine, about drinking camel urine. I could be sitting here as a Muslim and could be trying to cure my anxiety by drinking camel urine right now. And that's all your fault.
If it doesn't work, you haven't drunk enough camel urine.
Yeah, that's why I need to add another bottle and drink even more camel urine. 2 bottles full of camel urine. That's what I would be doing right now.
Wait, we should make a diet video, a diet commercial for the Islamic diet, where you start everything off with a bottle of camel urine, but then you don't feel very good, so you don't eat, and then all these people can get in shape by the camel urine, Muhammad approved camel urine diet. Anyway, just thinking off the top of my head there. Sometimes you got to say it and then realize how stupid it is.
It was good. It was good. I like everything we can possibly say about camel urine. There is nothing stupid we can ever say about camel urine. So,
yeah, you ever read those articles about the guys who are selling camel urine and then they get in trouble because it turns out they were just putting their own urine in the bottles and selling them as camel urine?
I think I encountered something like
that. I've seen that. I've seen that. They get in trouble for it. It's like the store had sold 4,000 bottles of camel urine, but it was actually just the guys in the store peeing into bottles and selling it. Thanks, Muhammad.
Thank you, Muhammad. That's the world you have brought to us. That's your product. Anyways, okay, wonderful. Now that we're at the end of this, is there any last speech that you want to hold to this brilliant audience, David?
Stay away from Islam.
That's all. Okay. You listen to him. David Wood knows exactly what he is talking about. He knows exactly what he's saying, that what he's saying is right. And he does that by making a super chat and also by adding children after that. Can you say that again with children?
Yeah. Children.
Okay.
God exists. Children.
You heard him, children. Okay. So everyone, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for being here, for your comments, for your questions, for your super chats, for your humor, David. Thanks, Mohammed, for camel urine. Thanks, everyone, for being here. And don't forget to smash the like button, to do all the things that you wanted to do to the worst person you can think of, to the like button, to wage jihad on the like button, to behead the like button, to, I don't know, whatever you want to do. Thanks, everyone. And from my side, stay away from Islam. Last word is yours, David.
TikTok, time to close out.